Okay, so the MP5K. Why would you want this as a civilian? What kind of value would this give you in a civilian sense? So the big question here is, like, what are you going to get out of this that you cannot get out of something like a Glock, like a small pistol, a proper pistol? So the main thing you're going to get out of this is a lot more control. This is going to be much more controlled than your typical 9mm pistol. Just because, you're talking about weight. This thing weighs 7 pounds from the factory. That's with nothing on it. So with all this extra, you can imagine it probably weighs a little close to 8 pounds. So that definitely has implications for the recoil. Additionally, this is a roller delayed blowback design, which means there are rollers in here, and it makes for a lot smoother operation as well as a more accurate system in some ways. So you do get a little extra out of this that you wouldn't otherwise get from a pistol. And you notice that when you actually start shooting it in terms of practical accuracy and other things. So in addition to the weight, you can also add an arm brace like this here. So how that works is it opens, and then you would put your arm in here. It would rest, and it would help you to stabilize your shots a little better. So that makes a huge difference over using a standard pistol where you're limited to the grip only. So you have some anchor points here that you can get a little more consistency with your shots and get your accuracy a little better. So in the way of attachments, in terms of red dots and lights, it's going to be a lot easier to attach on this than it would be to your typical pistol. This is a PTR 9KT, and PTR welds a Picatinny rail to the top of all the receivers. Some of the other H&K clones, you'll need to get a claw mount, but regardless, you're going to have a lot more space up here than you would on a MOS type slide on a pistol. Same deal down below here for a light. You have a little more wiggle room to work with. The K model has much less area for the grip, but it's still enough that you can mount something like this Enforced WML here. This is a full-size light and it fits just fine. So in terms of concealability, this fits very nicely inside of a backpack, like this here. Just your standard backpack. You can fit it very nicely, and it seals up just fine. Make sure you check your local laws regarding concealed carry, but permitting that this is legal, it would be an excellent option for a backpack gun. I think where it truly comes into its own is in a home defense application. You get the benefits of a traditional pistol with a shorter overall length, but you get a little extra with the control in terms of having a brace and additional weight. So yeah, I think the home defense application would be where this gun is best. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is magazine capacity. Standard capacity for the MP5 is 30 rounds. For the K model, if I'm correct, I believe it was a 20-round magazine for the HK MP5 PDW, which is what this is here, a 20-round magazine. A lot easier to get it in and out of a backpack with a 20-round magazine, but your typical capacity for a magazine is going to range from anywhere between 10 and I've seen like drums that hold at least 50 rounds, so the sky's really the limit in terms of that. So when you compare that with a traditional pistol, this thing wins every day in terms of capacity, which, more capacity means less reloading, which can make a big difference in a defensive scenario. So to sum it up, what is this good for in a civilian context? Number one, it's going to be more controllable than your typical pistol in terms of weight and the arm brace. You're going to have greater flexibility for attachments than you would with a typical pistol. Concealability is nowhere near as good as a typical pistol, being that it is significantly larger, but it's still very good in terms of keeping this in a backpack. You're going to find the true benefits are in home defense, with that extra stability and increased flexibility for attachments. And in terms of magazine capacity, this is going to blow away your typical pistol every single day. So those are the benefits. Whether or not it's worth it to you is a personal decision. For me, this is my home defense weapon, and I think that it is absolutely worth having and can do a better job in home defense than a typical pistol would. And just to give you guys one final treat, there you go.